What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Relics are here, and they're causing quite the panic within the Galaxy Heroes community. I've seen a lot of whales and krakens leave the game. This is just too much for them. A lot of people are very negative on Relics, and honestly, can't blame them. This is a pretty nasty system that they brought in. So, in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and some advice for tackling Relics. That way, you can still try to make the most out of this without really getting screwed for the future, really help fill out your account. So we're gonna go through 5 different things that you guys can keep in mind for your Relic system and helping to prepare your account and keep it going without getting screwed over in the future with Relics. So the first thing that I recommend for you guys with Relics is to spread them out. Don't focus on 1 or 2 characters only. Spread them out accordingly. Now, of course, you can see that I have Echo and Fives at Relic 7. That's for a video that I'm going to be putting out tomorrow, where these 2 guys can do some really nasty stuff together. But honestly, if you can spread out your Relics, that way if you have multiple characters and multiple factions at Gear 13, you're going to get a pretty wide benefit to that then. You can see like Canderous, I have him at Gear 13, but I'm using him with my Karth. I have a couple of Jedi, I have a droid here at Relic 1, but you can see I've got a lot of Relic 1 characters here because I'm trying to help spread it out so that I'm not just having one character with all that Relic power thrown in. Keep in mind that when you increase the power on a Relic, it also drastically increases the GP on your account as well. So if you have just one character or one faction that you're specifically boosting to Relic 7, you're going to get a lot of increase for GP with just that team, and then that's really going to hurt you in the long run because then you can start getting mashed up with teams who have a lot of GP across several teams. Now, of course, you know, Sith Empire with Relic 7, very powerful, but they're incredibly susceptible on defense with a lot of these Relic 7 teams. I've defeated them with Jedi, with clones, with General Grievous and his droids, and there's a lot of teams with powered up Relics that are able to defeat Sith Empire now. So I see a lot of people on my shard just focusing on Sith Empire Relics, and yeah, it's gonna help them with Arena, but when you go to Territory Wars and you start finding these other teams like Territory Wars or Grand Arena, you're gonna start finding opponents with a lot of Relics spread out. That's gonna hurt you in the long run. So keep that in mind, is that boosting just to Relic level 1 doesn't take a lot of materials to increase there. Now, all you have to really do in order to go from Relic 0 to Relic 1 is just get some of these Carbonite circuit board pieces. Now, you go to the Jawa Scavenger, and those are pretty easy pieces. A lot of your old players will have these hoarded up, but you can see that a lot of these are just really old pieces that you only use for like gear levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. So a lot of these you don't have a lot of them that you're going to need to use for characters in the future. But you can see I've got like 500 of each of them. I had thousands of these before, and I just kind of scavenged everything, and now I'm sitting on 3,500 circuit boards here. So as I get more characters to Gear 13 in the future and get their Relics, I have a pretty good amount of circuit boards built up so that I can just go ahead and take them to Relic 1 and get them a pretty nice boost to start off with. I mean, look at this, 2,000 health, a little bit of armor, and then a nice boost of physical damage as well, some accuracy, some armor penetration. Overall, just getting to Relic 1 is going to help really increase the power of your toon already. So just spreading them out to Relic 1 and in the future to Relic 2, spread them out that way that you have a lot of characters across different factions that are ready to go and are able to really help contribute with their increased Relic powers. Now, number 2 on my list here is do not forget to neglect your pilots. You know, ships are still a big thing. Ships are really one of the more reliable areas to get Zeta mats for yourself. So if you are going to be really active in ships, definitely don't forget to put Relic power on your pallets. That is actually a pretty big thing here, is that a Relic 7.5s for myself, he's got a pretty fast Umbaran Starfighter here. I believe his speed is something like 203 now with a Relic 7.5s. That's absurdly fast. And I mean, that's a whole lot faster than a Relic 0.5s. So The power on your relics will directly increase the speed and other stats on your ship, so keep that in mind, and that is why I recommend that you work on your ships too, you know, help upgrade some of those ships and help upgrade some of their pilots and their relics and everything, because in the long run, that's going to be very, very important for you. I know Warrior has upgraded his Han and Chewie to Relic 7. I know pretty much all of Team Instinct is doing Relic 7 Han and Chewie, because it gets a very, very fast Millennium Falcon at that point. Some people are asking about Bistan's U-Wing. Yeah, probably not a bad idea to upgrade Bistan's U-Wing, but I mean, that's Gear 13 on Bistan and Rebel Pathfinder. It's kind of a hard investment to justify, when you can just go for a faster Han and Chewie and get more return on that, especially in character arena as well. Now, one other character that I recommend you guys take a look at for upgrading here in the future is going to be Plo Koon. Now, we have the Negotiator starting to get unlocked in a lot of your top-end guilds, and in the future, there's going to be a lot more negotiators in the fleet arena, and honestly, Plo Koon Starfighter, going to be a pretty solid one. I wouldn't say it's going to be the best one, especially on defense, but his special here, Inspiring Charge, where he gives a 40% turn meter, that's pretty much one of those things where it's going to be great on offense. Apparently, he doesn't use this on defense first, he uses the Force Taunt, so on defense, not going to be as important, but if you're looking to use an offensive negotiator fleet, Plo Koon Starfighter definitely going to be a very important one, because you can really speed him up quickly, get him going pretty fast. Look at this, 183 speed, and I don't even have him at Gear 13 yet. So once he's up to Gear 13 with Relic 7, probably somewhere close to 200 speed at that point, he can use that turn meter boost and have your whole fleet pretty much go before the enemy, and that could cause some pretty devastating things. So there are certain characters out here who I really recommend you work on, and it's important to just focus on pilots too. Don't neglect them, because ships are still going to be pretty important for a lot of players out there. So number 3 on my list, start looking at offense mods for characters. You know, with relics and the huge increase to the damage stats, offense is going to be very, very important and could pretty much outperform crit damage mods in a lot of cases out there. I look no further than my own F5s. You can see I've messed around with Clone Sergeant, taking some mods off him and using them elsewhere. But take a look at my 5s. At Relic 7, I have offense mods on him. I have an offense triangle, offense cross, speed arrow. But you can see that his physical damage is 7,000 at this point. He's going to hit very hard with that. He has the 50% crit chance, plus another 20 from Echo. But at that point, with that much damage, he's getting a pretty big return on offense mods. There's a lot of characters out there who get a big boost to offense. At this point, it's safe to say you should be using offense mods on them instead. So offense mods are going to start getting a bigger return on a lot of characters out there than crit damage, because of these huge offense pools that we're going to be seeing characters run because of these relics. Echo, with his relic, you can see I've got 1,600 physical damage here added in, plus another 540 with his relics. That's a good 2,000 added in there. Almost 3,000 special damage on him. So you go and look at his stats, and you can see 7,300 physical damage, and you go look at his special, 10,500 special damage at that point. Offense is going to be a huge deal for a lot of characters out there. Now, of course, with Echo, I'm still running crit damage because of his unique, where he has the guaranteed critical hits, and plus he gets the bonus with the crit damage up. So I'm still running crit damage on him, but a lot of characters out there, you're going to start to see a big increase from offense. Clone Sergeant probably gave me another character that could be good with offense mods on him, because he constantly gets offense up through his own unique. So there are plenty of characters out there that are going to start getting better returns on offense mods. So do start farming those offense mods, because those are really going to be big for a lot of characters out there in the future. And depending on who we get, if we have more teams that can't critically hit or have a lot of crit immunity, you're going to get obviously you're going to get a better return for offense there. So definitely start looking at those offense mods if you haven't already. And number 4 on my list is, keep in mind the amount of crafting materials you're going to need to take a character up the relic levels. Go look at this graphic that was sent out from my guild organization, Mom, where it talks about all the different mats you're going to need at each level. And then there was another one in Russian, I believe, that had all the mats total needed from 1 to 7 with just one character on them. It's a lot of materials for helping to get a character up from Relic 1 to 7. million credits, a lot of salvage that you're gonna need from the scavenger. So if you are gonna be getting this, and I highly recommend you always have some in reserve, because you never know when a new character is coming that could shift the meta. Like right now, more than likely we're going to see a General Anakin here very soon with the 501st. So get stuff crafted ahead of time. You can see that for amplifying the relics, you have 3 pieces that come just from the cantina here on the right, and then over on the left you can have pieces that you're going to get from the Jabba scavenger. Now, of these 3 cantina pieces, the fragment and signal data has a pretty solid drop rate. It has a really good chance of dropping 2 per sim from the cantina node, but the other 2, this signal data and the 2 signal datas, the incomplete signal data and the flawed signal data, those 2 pieces have terrible drop rates. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's some kind of bug, or maybe it's intentional, but those 2 pieces, it feels like they have the drop rates of Zetas from the old ship challenges, where you have a great chance of getting 0, a decent chance of 1, and maybe once in a blue moon you'll get that double drop of that piece from that sim. So the drop rates on those 2 pieces are terrible, so keep that in mind ahead of time, so that when you go to farm both the green and those blue pieces here, the flawed and incomplete signal data for those cantina nodes, keep in mind that you're going to need quite a bit of cantina energy to farm those. And that's going to bring me up to my next point, is how much worth it is buying the refreshes of cantina energy. Now, that's going to go on a case-by-case basis for a lot of people, but for me personally, I only go to the point where I'm spending 200 crystals on the cantina refresh. Once I get to 400, I stop. I don't spend any more, especially if I'm farming some of these other pieces, because their drop rates are just so bad. At that point, it feels like I'm spending 100 or 200 crystals for maybe 1 piece of that salvage to drop. That's really not worth it for me. So it's gonna go case by case for some people, like your big whales and your krakens. They're gonna go as far as they want to. But for a lot of other players out there who are trying to farm this up, 100, 200 is probably the most I recommend you going for with that. And that way you're not throwing away crystals and spending more than you're actually getting from both the fleet and character arenas at that point. So it's really going to go as a case-by-case basis. That's just my personal recommendation. Whatever you guys feel comfortable with spending on crystals, that's what you want to go for with these cantina refreshes. And finally, to my last point here, don't panic. I know a lot of people are freaking out about relics. They're incredibly overpowered. This feels like mods 2.0, when the original mods came out and they just completely broke the power system. Definitely seen that here again with relics. But a lot of people are freaking out thinking this is just gonna completely wreck the meta, this is gonna break balance for everything. Problem with that is we're in the middle of a meta that is very hard to compare against this kind of thing, because if you keep in mind the leadership with Darth Revan, with his stacking negative defense with the ferocity and everything, they have pretty much no defense at all. So it's really hard to gauge how powerful a lot of these relics are when you go against that kind of team with 0 defense. So when you see General Grievous hitting for 350, 400,000 damage on his attacks, yeah, that looks terrifying, but also keep in mind of who he's fighting against. So this is something that I think a lot of us are forgetting about. I personally forgot about it for a couple days, and I thought about it and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, Darth Revan has no defense. So don't panic just yet. Relic 7 is incredibly powerful, yes, absolutely 100%. Relic 7 is a force to be reckoned with, especially with some of these teams out here that stack up a lot of offense and everything. You're going to see teams that will destroy with Relic 7, but by no means is it unbeatable. We've seen people with Relic 7 teams get beaten on defense. It's not a sure thing. So at the end of the day, while you feel like this is an insurmountable task, and this is definitely something that feels like it's going to be crazy and just break everything, keep in mind that it's still very much a beatable thing, and this is something to just know that just because it has Relic 7 on it does not mean it's an unbeatable team. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. Let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think about relics? I know a lot of you are going to be negative on this. I'm still pretty negative on this. I like what they're doing with some of these characters, but man, this feels overwhelming, especially with Gear 13 just coming out 2 months ago. Let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think? As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I will talk to you guys later.